Hi guys, we are going to learn one of our last lessons of the year before we start to review. We're going to talk about quadratic functions still. We're going to fill out this graphic organizer today. So when you look here, you have a quadratic function. We know this is a quadratic because it has that x squared. Remember, our formula is a squared minus bx minus c. So we know that it's going to form a parabola shape because it's got this x squared here. It could be up or it could be down, but since this one starts positive, we know it's going to be facing up. So I need to discover a, b, and c in my first box. So when I come over here, I know a comes with the x squared, and I see no number here, so I know I'm going to fill in a 1 for a. And then I come over here and I have -4. And that's in the spot of B. So for B, I'm going to write -4. And these are things we've learned already so far, nothing new. -5 is C. We haven't talked a lot about C, but we have learned to identify it. We're going to start to talk about C today. We're going to come down to our next box, and we know already AOS is -B over 2A. So we know our B is -4. So we're going to have -4. And we know our A is 1. 2 times 1. And we're going to have 4. Negative makes +4 over 2. And we're going to end up with x equals +2. So I know that my AOS on my graph is going to be a dotted line. And we're going to take this information and we're going to put it on a graph. So in your last box over here, you have a graph. I don't have a graph on my box because I'm going to flip my board over and we're going to do a big graph. On your graph, you're going to go to where x equals -2. So I'm going to go over 2 on the x axis. I'm going to go over 2 and I'm going to put a dotted line there. Because I know when I graph my parabola now, after I figure out all my information, the center of it, the part where I can fold it in half, is going to be here. This is my x equals 2 AOS, or axis of symmetry. So on your graph, you can fill that in right here. Okay? All right, so vertex. I know already I find vertex by plugging in what I found for AOS. So my formula is x squared, or y equals x squared, minus 4x minus 5. So I'm going to fill in 2. 2 squared minus 4 times 2 minus 5. 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4. -4 times 2 is -8. And then I have a minus 5. So I'm going to say 4 minus 8 is -4 minus 5 is going to give me -9. So my y is -9, but my vertex I know is an xy point. My x point I learned was 2. My y point is -9. So I can graph that point on the graph. I'm going to go back up to here and I'm going to find the point 2, -9. So I know I already went over 2, which is cool. And I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, -9. Okay. And I'm going to put a dot there. 2, -9 is my vertex. Nothing is new here. You know how to solve for vertex. You know how to solve for AOS. You've shown me how to do the dotted lines before. Maybe you drew it in or maybe you noticed it. Vertex, we've plotted those points. The thing that's new is y-intercept. And y-intercept is simply C. So easy. Just figure out the value of C that's right here or what you wrote down over here, and it's just -5. And we know that y-intercept is where we cross the y-axis. Okay, where we cross the y-axis. So we're going to go to our graph, and we're going to go to RC, which was -5. So here's the Y line. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to put a dot. That's our Y intercept. Okay, so now we can build our parabola on one side. What about the other side? So we find the other side. See how this is 2 spots from the AOS? We're going to do what's called reflect it on the other side, because remember, this dotted line makes the parabola be able to be folded in half. So whatever is on one side over here should match this side over here. So we're just going to come on up, draw a little line. So again, I found the other side. See how this is 1, 2 from the AOS? I go back to the AOS and I count 1, 2 in the other direction. That gives me the 3 dots I need to form the parabola. Everything you graph needs 3 points. One is the vertex, which you find by plugging in the AOS, which you've learned and been practicing for several weeks. One is the y-intercept, which is new, but it's where it crosses the y line. The concept of y-intercept is something you've learned, especially when we did y equals mx plus b. And then you just have to reflect it. So if it's 2 over here, it's 2 over here. So your assignment for today is to fill out this graph, this graphic organizer. Take notes. You are going to fill in your graph. Mine is on the back of this whiteboard, but you're going to fill your graph in on your page. And that's all you have to do today is copy my notes onto your paper, into your notebook, make it nice and organized like I did mine, and submit it.